You're in the middle of a conversation. Normal conversation, nothing serious. And while the other person is still talking, your brain is already 3 steps ahead, analyzing their tone, replaying what you said 2 minutes ago, wondering if that one sentence came out wrong, planning your response, questioning if you're even likable, all at the same time. And on the outside, you look completely fine. That right there, that's not anxiety. That's not a disorder. That's not you being broken. That's what it actually feels like to be someone who thinks too much. And if that hit a little too close to home, this video was made specifically for you.
You're not overthinking. Your brain is overworking. Let's start by killing the narrative that overthinking is a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's not something wrong with your personality. It's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do, just doing it way too much, way too often on things that don't actually need that much processing power. And here's the part that's going to reframe everything for you. The people who think the most, they're usually the most intelligent, the most emotionally aware, the most creative, the most empathetic. Overthinking isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's actually a sign that your brain is running a very powerful operating system. The problem isn't the hardware, it's that nobody gave you the manual. The default mode network, your brain's background app. Here's the neuroscience that explains everything. Your brain has a network called the default mode network. Scientists call it the DMN, and what it does is genuinely fascinating and, honestly, kind of terrifying once you understand it. The default mode network is the part of your brain that activates when you're not doing anything, when you're not focused on a task, when you're in the shower, when you're lying in bed, when you're staring out the window, when there's a gap in a conversation. Most people assume their brain goes quiet during those moments. It doesn't. The default mode network fires up and starts running its own programming. It replays the past. It simulates the future. It processes social interactions. It builds narratives about who you are and what people think of you. It runs scenario after scenario, most of which will never actually happen. For a regular brain, the DMN activates, runs for a bit, then quiets down when something external demands attention. For an overthinker, the default mode network basically never gets the memo to stop. It runs in the background constantly, like an app you forgot to close that's silently draining your battery. Why intelligent people are the most prone to this? This is the part most videos completely skip over, and it's the part that actually matters. Research consistently shows that people with higher cognitive ability, people who are naturally more analytical, more self-aware, more emotionally intelligent, have more active default mode networks. Think about what that means for a second. The same mental capacity that makes you good at solving problems, reading people, thinking critically, and seeing nuance in situations is the exact same capacity that makes your brain run overdrive on things that don't need that level of analysis. You apply the same processing power to what did they mean by that text as you do to an actual complex problem. Your brain doesn't automatically know the difference. It just knows it has the horsepower to go deep, so it goes deep on everything. This is why highly creative people are often chronic overthinkers. It's why empaths, people who are naturally tuned in to others' emotions, are some of the biggest overthinkers on the planet, because the same sensitivity that makes them emotionally intelligent also makes them replay every interaction looking for signals. You're not thinking too much because you're weak. You're thinking too much because your brain is wired to go deep. What's actually happening when you can't shut it off? Let's get really specific about what's going on neurologically. When your default mode network is in overdrive, your brain is doing 3 things simultaneously. It's ruminating. That means looping back through past events, replaying conversations, analyzing what you said, what they said, what it meant. Your brain is trying to extract lessons and close loops, but it keeps running the same loop without ever reaching a conclusion. It's anticipating. That means projecting forward into possible futures, running worst-case scenarios, catastrophizing, preparing for things that statistically have maybe a 5% chance of happening, but feel absolutely certain in the moment. And it's self-referencing. That means constantly running an internal narrative about who you are, how you come across, how you compare to others, what your life is supposed to look like versus what it actually looks like. All three of these happening at the same time is what chronic overthinking feels like from the inside. And here's the brutal part. All of this activity uses real energy. It triggers real stress hormones. It creates real cortisol. It keeps your nervous system in a low-grade activated state, not enough to feel like panic, but enough to feel like you can never fully relax. That exhaustion you feel at the end of a day where you didn't even do that much, that's your default mode network collecting its tax.
The real cost of an overactive mind. The cost of chronic overthinking isn't just feeling tired or anxious. It compounds. Decision paralysis, when your brain runs every possible scenario for every possible outcome, making a simple decision becomes genuinely difficult. Your brain has convinced itself that every choice has major consequences, so it stalls, it delays, it asks for more information it'll never feel satisfied with. Presence. Overthinkers struggle to actually be in moments. A conversation, a meal, a quiet afternoon. The DMN keeps pulling you out of the present and into simulations of the past or future. Life starts to feel like something happening around you, rather than something you're actually living. Relationships. When you're constantly analyzing what people mean, how they feel about you, whether you said the right thing, you stop actually connecting. You're too busy managing the mental commentary to be fully there. Sleep. The default mode network loves nighttime. The moment external demands disappear and the room goes quiet, it fires up. That's why the thoughts that bother you most always seem loudest at 2 a.m. How to work with your brain instead of against it. Here's where most advice on overthinking fails. It tells you to just stop, think less, be more present, calm down. That's like telling someone with a powerful engine to just drive slower. It doesn't fix the underlying thing. You're not trying to turn off the default mode network. You can't, and you wouldn't want to. It's where a lot of your best thinking, creativity, and self-awareness comes from. What you're doing is learning to direct it. Give it something to do. The DMN runs wild when there's no input, so give it structured input. Journaling, writing, drawing, walking while actively processing something. When you externalize the thoughts, get them out of your head and onto paper, the loop breaks. Your brain gets the signal that the thought has been processed and can be released. Name what it's doing. When the spiral starts, just name it out loud or in your head. That's rumination. That's anticipation. That's the DMN running a scenario. The act of naming it activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and literally reduces the activity in the default mode network. You can't logic your way out of overthinking, but you can observe your way out. Use a time container. Give your overthinking a scheduled slot. 15 to 30 minutes a day where you deliberately sit with your worries, process them, write them down, and then close the container. When a thought intrudes outside that window, tell it it has a time and place, and it's not now. This sounds too simple to work. It genuinely works. Replace simulation with action. The default mode network runs scenarios because your brain is trying to prepare for uncertainty. The fastest way to shut down the simulation is to take one small action that reduces the uncertainty. Not a perfect action, not a complete solution, just one move. Your brain gets the signal, we're doing something, stop simulating. Conclusion. You think too much. Not because something is wrong with you, because you have a brain that was built to go deep, built to analyze, built to understand nuance and anticipate and feel things fully. That's not a flaw. That's actually a gift, one that comes with a cost if you don't know how to manage it.
The default mode network is always running. The goal isn't silence. The goal is direction. Journal the loops. Name what's happening. Give your worries a container. Replace simulation with one small action. You're not going to think your way out of overthinking, but you can work with your brain instead of against it. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Just one thing. Open a notebook and write down whatever has been looping in your head lately. Don't organize it. Don't solve it. Just get it out. That's step one. That's the whole assignment. Subscribe for more videos like this every week. And if this one hit, share it with someone who needs to hear that their overactive mind is not a weakness. It never was.